Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, as it's more commonly known. We're taking you through a course from the QEW Training Academy.
Yeah.
And it's designed to be like a really solid intro to CBT, whether you're thinking about this for personal growth or even like as a career move.
It's really cool how this course is actually structured. They kind of anticipated all those, okay, but how does this actually work in real life? All those questions we have when we're learning something new,
Right.
Like, it's not just theory.
Totally.
It's really practical.
So no more like wondering if this applies to like your anxiety or your relationship struggles.
Yeah.
They actually get into the nitty gritty of like how to apply CDT to like all sorts of different challenges.
And I think that's what makes this deep dive so cool, right? Because
Yeah.
we're giving you, the listener, that cheat sheet to this knowledge. You're getting those actionable insights. You're getting relatable examples. You're even getting tools that you can put into practice. Like, by the end of this, you're going to have your own personal CBT toolkit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so module 1, it kicks off like with the foundation.
Yeah.
Like what is CBT? And one of the things the course emphasizes is like it's not about dwelling on the past or like, all that kind of like
It's about moving forward.
Yeah. It's about like equipping you with these practical tools to have a more fulfilling life now.
Exactly. It's very action-oriented. Like, one of the first things they do is they really tackled this distinction between thoughts and feelings.
Okay.
And it sounds simple, but it's huge. It's so powerful. Like, think about it. When you're just like, I just feel awful, but you don't even know why necessarily. Like, CBC kind of gives you the tools to unpack those feelings by actually examining the thoughts that are kind of behind them.
So instead of just being like hit by this wave of like, oh, I feel stressed, CBT gives you the ability to like pause and go, okay, well, what thoughts are actually creating that feeling?
Yeah. What's going on in your mind? Like, it's like shining a light on these thought patterns that we have that influence how we're feeling and how we're acting that are often unconscious, right?
Yeah.
We don't even realize it.
And they give some really like clear examples in the text, right, to illustrate this.
They do.
So like, imagine you're running late for work because you hit every single red light.
Oh, the worst.
Right. I thought might be like, this day is already a disaster.
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes my way.
Yep, right.
Totally.
Like, that could be the thought.
That's often what our brain does. It goes to that worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
And then based on that thought, my day is disaster.
Yeah.
You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel anxious. You might even feel a sense of defeat before you even get to the office. Totally.
So your whole day is shot.
Right. Whereas if you can catch that thought, like challenge it.
Yeah.
Right. And be like, okay, well, it's just a few red lights. I'll make it work. It's fine.
But not a big deal.
Like that can totally shift your whole state.
Totally. And that is such a key takeaway.
Right.
Like, step 1 in CBT, become aware of your thoughts.
Right.
It's so important.
Becoming like the observer of your own mind.
Yes, because that awareness then gives you the power to choose a different thought, right?
Yeah.
And when you can choose a different thought, you can start to feel better. And then ultimately that's going to affect how you behave.
Yeah. I can already see how that could be so empowering. So like, if you're listening to this right now, think about a time recently when you had like a strong emotional reaction to something. Yeah. And just like think, what were the thoughts that were going through your head in that moment?
Yeah.
Were they helpful? Were they not helpful? It's just like a little exercise you can do.
I love that. It's like we're giving people a sneak peek into their own minds, right? And then once you start paying attention to your thoughts, the course encourages you to kind of define, like, what are your aims for using CBT?
Right. So are you coming to this for personal growth?
Yeah.
Like to manage stress better or like, I don't know, like communicate more effectively in your relationships, that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Or are you thinking about like, I want to do this professionally?
Exactly. So it's like, where do you want to go with this?
Right.
What are you hoping to get out of it? And then you can tailor, your approach and focus on the areas that would be most beneficial.
And one thing that they emphasize in the course is that CBT can be applied to like a really wide range of challenging. So it's not just for like, anxiety, depression, but also things like eating disorders and addiction.
And this is where I think it gets really, really interesting because it doesn't shy away from like the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
It gives you like tools and strategies to deal with some of these really, really common, really challenging things that we all kind of face.
Yeah, like a toolbox, right?
Yeah, like all these different
techniques and tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of challenges, one thing that the course does acknowledge is that there's a stigma that often surrounds seeking help for mental health.
Absolutely.
Right. And this is something a lot of people struggle with.
It's so true. They actually compare it to, seeking help for physical health, which I think is such a great analogy.
Right.
Right? It's like if you broke your leg, you wouldn't think twice about going to the doctor. Right.
Exactly. But for some reason, when it comes to mental health, there's this like hesitation.
Right.
And it's really unfortunate because just like we need to take care of our physical health, we also need to take care of our mental health.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so what I love about the course is they don't just like point out the problem. They offer a solution, which is like, reframe it.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's a sign of strength to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like it's actually a really proactive step to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't be ashamed to go to the doctor for like a physical checkup.
Exactly. Right. So why should it be any different for mental health?
Yeah. Yeah. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health.
It really is. And CBT can be like a really powerful tool on that journey.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move on to Module 2 now, where we really delve deeper into the heart of CBT, which is, they call it the cognitive model.
Yes.
Right.
And this module is all about understanding the connection, the link between our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. Because it's not just as simple as, this happens so I feel this way. There's a whole thought process that happens in between.
Right.
And a lot of times that happens on autopilot. We don't even realize it.
Ah, yes. Automatic thinking.
Automatic thinking, yes.
One of my favorite CBT concepts. It's like our brains trying to make sense of the world.
Yes.
But just at lightning speed, right?
It's like the survival mechanism that we have,
There you
right?
go.
Like imagine our ancestors out on the savannah. Like they didn't have time to overthink it if a lion was charging at them, right? But that rapid fire thinking that might have kept us safe back then can sometimes trip us up today.
Because those automatic thoughts are often colored by our past experiences, our biases, and even those deeply ingrained core beliefs that we develop, when we're younger.
Exactly. It's like we're looking at the world through these filters and we don't even realize it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And the course does a really good job of explaining how these core beliefs can shape our perceptions and our reactions. So they give an example of a child who grows up with very critical parents.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that child might develop this core belief of I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Yeah.
Right. Which can then impact how they think.
Yeah.
And behave in so many situations throughout their life.
Exactly. And that's what's so powerful, right?
Right.
Is that these early experiences can have such a long-lasting impact. But the good news is CBT gives us the tools to identify them and to challenge them.
Yeah, even if they've been with us for years.
Even if they've been with us for years, we can work on those.
It's like saying to that core belief, okay, I see you, right? But you're not going to run the show anymore.
Exactly. You're not the boss of me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is where, one of the practical applications of this module comes in.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is they want you to reflect on a past event that was difficult.
Yeah.
Right. That you had a strong emotional reaction to. And try to analyze it through the lens of the cognitive model.
Okay. Yeah.
So what were your automatic thoughts?
Yeah.
What core beliefs might have been at play?
It's such a great exercise because, again, it helps you see those patterns, right?
Yeah.
That might be happening unconsciously, that might be influencing your reactions.
That's holding a mirror up to your own mind.
It really is. And to help with this reflection, they have this really practical tool, the automatic thought record.
Oh, yes.
This is where it gets really fun and really actionable.
Right. So it's basically a journal where you can track those automatic thoughts in real time.
Yes. In the moment, right? As they're happening.
Yeah. So imagine this.
Yeah.
You're at a party.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And you see a group of people laughing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your automatic thought might be, oh, they're laughing at me.
Yeah.
I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
So instead of just letting that thought like spiral, you can pull out your automatic thought record.
Mm-hmm.
You can just jot it down.
It's like becoming like a detective of your own mind.
Yes, exactly.
You're gathering evidence.